What's up, bros? This is the Apollo Phantom 2.0, and today we're going to review it. The new and improved 2.0 has a top speed of 44 miles an hour, runs on 52 volts, and the new one has an increase in power. Peak power is 1750 watts per motor and is dual motor. Battery is a little bit bigger as well, running a 52 volt 27 amp hour battery pack. They say we can do up to 50 miles of range, and the design on the Apollo Phantom 2.0 resembles more of the Apollo Pro, you know, the real expensive one. MSRP is $2,999 on sale for a significant amount off of that in the link below this video. But don't buy the Apollo Phantom 2.0 just yet. Let's review it and see what it's made of. So the back side of the box shows this one is powered by the Mach 3 controller, 0 to 30 in 6 seconds. Have 11-inch self-healing tires, regenerative braking, IP66 water resistant. It's got a giant manual here showing us how everything works and how to add an NFC card. Definitely has some weight to it. Here's what it looks like when you get out of the box. Here's the NFC chips and a quad lock. User manual. Comes with a set of tools, and here's how the latching mechanism works on this one. Goes under there and clicks on. And over on the other side, we have this piece that doesn't seem to be lining up. Might need to adjust that a little bit. Looks like it's designed to, yeah. And then we got this rubber strap, a little extra security. There we go. Handlebars go on up here. It's got a little clip down here with a magnet. So if you want, you can collapse the whole thing down, bang your wall a bit. And that thing plugs right in there. And it won't come unlatched until you press this button. So if you want to turn your scooter into a deadlift machine, you can do that. On the back here, I am noticing it says Foundation 1 out of 500. Is this the very first unit produced? I don't know, but here is what the deck looks like. It is rubber. Kickstand has a bit of orange on it, and we get these lights around the entire perimeter of the scooter. Looks like a single coil shock on the rear. Looks like the same coil shock up front. On 11-inch wheels with a street tread, running mechanical brakes, but it does have regen brakes, so we're probably not ever really going to use these too much. Looks like the exact same thing around back. The motor up front is stamped as 1750 watts, 52 volts. And since it is dual motor, of course, we get the same motor on the rear. In addition to the lights down there, we get this light on the stem and a headlight up here. And it appears there are turn signals on both the front and the back of the handlebars. Mechanical brake levers, little bell. Probably the regen brake, mode signal, power button, throttle signal, and round rubber grip. Of course, you get a signal on the right as well. Also a mechanical brake lever. And up front, there is the NFC, but you also get the dot matrix underneath this sticker with the quad lock ready to rock and roll for your cell phone. Of course, Apollo has an app. I showed that in a lot of my other videos. Let's just press the power button and see what happens here. So we are on. Got the dot matrix showing zeros. Looks like battery life is down here. This thing's lit up like a Christmas tree already, bro. It is all white lights here on the stem. Down here on the base, looking very bright. And around back, there's a red light. Continuing around to these. What happens if we grab the brake lever? It flashes for us. Pulling that. What about turn signal? Let's try the turn signal. Oh yeah, so bright lights up here flashing and on the back too. It is self-canceling after a few seconds, so beep, 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 beep. Turns off after about 5 seconds. Of course, you got this one on that side too. Kind of just divides down the middle there. How's this thing work? Let's check it out. So apparently we can activate cruise control by holding down the turn signal, but you gotta activate it in the app. Yeah, that's the regen brake. Oh, there's Apple Find My. Press 1X press for 2 seconds on the M button. So you want to hook up Apple Find My, hold that. So press the M button. We'll turn on this little headlight up here. And then you double press that button. Double tap. Turns off all the lights if you want to go stealth mode. Well, except for the backlight. And then the power button on the right is how you activate your power modes. So you press this once to toggle between modes. There's 3, 1, 2, 3. And then you triple tap it to get into Ludo mode. So Ludo. And real quick to show you the size of the deck, here's a size 14 Nike shoe on the front and back. So deck is relatively long and narrow, I would say. This rubber material feels nice, and we're about to get it out for a rip. But real quick, let me just show you what I look like on this at 6'5", standing on, this handlebars come up to a nice height. I am noticing they kind of slope back, making the position kind of upright. Suspension feels real soft. I thought I was bottoming it out, but it was at the kickstand touching. Oh yeah, Feels pretty good. I think we're on Ludo mode. Yeah, we're gonna have to get into the app because it looks like we gotta do a little push start to get rolling. Let's get this thing out for a rip. Oh, almost forgot to show you guys one last thing here. The Apollo Phantom 52 volt charger is a 3 amp charger. Charge port is right here. We'll plug it in, top it off, and get it out for a rip. All right, dudes, let's check out the Apollo Phantom 2.0. We're gonna try out this NFC chip in a minute, and we'll check out the app. Whoa, this thing is lit, bro. Those lights are bright. And of course, we're gonna check our official range on this battery. And they have the quad lock thing. I don't want that big bump on the back of my phone. If I was gonna use the quad lock, you know, I'd probably just have a second phone case for it. So hopping aboard this scooter, first thing I'm noticing is, darn it, we're probably gonna have to get into the app because I'm on mode number 2 now and we're in kilometers an hour. They're showing 14 miles an hour, or 14 kilometers an hour. Let's try mode 3. Yeah, mode 3 still pretty freaking chill. I don't love using the apps, but we'll have to do it. There's your dot matrix. So I guess to activate our NFC chip, we press this button 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah, and then you put this here. Now we're activated. And now I think we turn it off. Let's turn it back on. I think we're in like park mode. Yeah, it says P, so, oh yeah. So it gives you a little bit of resistance on the motor there. You could still walk off with it, I suppose, but it's got like a parking brake. I guess some sort of like theft resistance, but now we have our NFC chip, boom, and we're unlocked. So we have the app. I've used it on other reviews. We'll add this one, search. Yep, that would be us, the Phantom 2.0. I don't see any other around here, do you? Oh, you have to have this pin. Let's do all ones. Don't lose that. Okay, so we're gonna switch over to Imperial units and we get to choose our acceleration response and regen brake response. Let's just throw them on max, bro. Why not? And you get to choose your top speed. We'll just set it at 62 miles an hour. Why not? So it tells you how to use the thing. Press the power button once. Oh wow, look at that. All-wheel drive electric scooter. Pass. And then how to activate Ludo mode. And it also has Apple Find My. I don't wanna add that though. Okay, so we have the kickstart enabled right now, which means you can't start from a stop. I don't like that personally, so we're gonna turn that off. And you can set your speed limit. So yeah, on 1, we're set at 4 miles an hour, and 2 is 9 miles an hour, and then sport is 12 miles an hour. I think, let's just bump that up to like 35 on sport, and comfort 20, eco 15. So if you want to maximize your range, keep all that stuff in the stock settings, but those speeds are really freaking slow as far as I'm concerned. And we also have cruise control. I'm just going to leave that off so it doesn't automatically start cruising on me. As mentioned, we're going to keep the acceleration response and regen brakes on max. We'll change it if needed. Got our blinkers. We're ready to rock and roll. So a little bit of a bummer that you actually have to use the app, but the app actually works pretty good. But yeah, if you don't use it, this thing's going to be just extremely gentle. But now we're on power mode 1, going about 10, although I sort of set that to 15, and 2 are, yeah, a little bit more juicy. Nice. So this feels like a nice commuter amount of power, and we have the testing our brakes here. How about that? We got the mechanical brakes, but the regen. So like when you first pull into the brakes a bit, you feel that mechanicalness to them, which is not the greatest, but you get the regen brake. So, you know, charge your battery up a bit. Woo! It is windy out here today, broski. So deck I am noticing is kind of short, compact. You know, I've been on longer decks. Power level 2 here. Holds us at 20 now, so that's cool. And then we'll do 3. And this is probably all the power you really need on an electric scooter. This is only power level 3. We didn't even get the Ludo mode, but gets us up to speed pretty darn quickly. And you gotta love the regen brake on these direct drive motors. It's just, you know, a thoughtful design. Like, why waste the brake pads if you can just use regen brake? Saves you on the brake pads, put a little juice back in the battery. We got the tall 11-inch wheels. You know, this thing feels pretty smooth with the suspension on the front and the rear of this scooter. I'm not quite ready for Ludo mode. Are you? Slow it down here a bit. So Ludo mode, a triple tap, is that right? Yeah, Ludo it says on there. So let's give it an acceleration here from a dig. Ready, go. I weigh 200 pounds. 10, 20, 30, and 40. Feels stable at speed so far. Woo! I'm gonna let off. Handlebars on this one feel like real planted, you know, it feels like a solid scooter. I've been on some pretty sketch scooters This one is not one of those sketch scooters. This one, I don't know, man, it just has like a rigidness about it, that thick stem on front. It feels like real securely latched down. I like that it has a rubber deck, so it just kind of helps isolate you from some of those vibrations coming up through the deck, you know, that the suspension and tires don't eat up. That way your knees and your ankles, your bones, your feet don't have to take all the beating of the streets. Yeah, on Ludo mode, this thing's got a pretty good kick to it. You really, I mean, you really don't need more power than this on an electric scooter, man. At some point, some of these scooters just get so outrageous, they're like death traps. This one feels sufficiently powerful. Now, the dot matrix in the sunlight is a little bit hard to see, but in the shade, you can see it perfectly fine. But, you know, they give you that quad lock thing, so you really should be probably just using your phone, I would say, you know, rather than looking at the dot matrix. But dot matrix works. And I love that it has like all these lights on it. Like the lights actually look real nice. Got the turn signals to let everybody know we turn in. I think they changed the design on the Phantom 2.0, how those signals are. And I think the reason they did that is in case it tips over, like it used to have the turn signal on the outer edge, I think, and they're kind of prone to braking, but not anymore. Woo! We got a strong wind coming this direction. Let's see how this thing goes in a corner before we try the top speed. So sometimes these dual motor scooters, you gotta be careful about not spitting that motor out going around a turn. This one, even on the max throttle response, like, you know, it's gripping. It's not like spitting out on me, so it doesn't feel like dangerous like some of these high power scooters can feel. Also, to talk about, I kind of totally forgot, we got the regen lever here. It's just so natural to use the brake levers to stop, which does activate the regen brake, but you have the dedicated, oh yeah, that's real responsive once you dial it to max settings, which the throttle is dialed to max settings. Oh yeah, a little wheel spin there, baby. I like the throttle and brake responses on these, or I should say the feel. Like it's got a little rubber pad on there, so it's just kind of like ergonomic. You know, it feels like a quality built scooter compared to some of these Chinesium scooters I've tried in the past. Now, you're paying a little bit more for that quality compared to just raw, outrageous power with Apollo. That building used to have a big YouTube sign on it. YouTube must have went out of business. Wait. This is YouTube. What the heck am I talking about? All right, just make sure we have it on Ludo mode here. We're gonna top speed run now. My GPS speedometer is right here. And let's just give it a rip. So yeah, it gets up to 30 very easily. And then the speed's kind of starting to taper off around 40, but 41, 42, getting a little aerodynamic, 43. So it peaks out right around as fast as you really need to go, 41, 42. Woo! Yeah, those mechanical brakes. Let's use the regen. Oh yeah, regen brake slows you down real good. I am noticing like the handlebars don't turn like extremely far, which is totally fine. Just kind of an observation. Let's go try it off-road a bit on Ludo mode. So yeah, that front tire will spin once you get it off the pavement and over here onto some sandy, gravelly kind of riding. Yeah, suspension is not set up for riding on some dirt trails, I would say. So we're gonna go up here and try a rather steep hill, see how it does, and then test the brakes. So we're gonna shoot some B-roll on this thing on Ludo mode. We'll see how that works out for me. Probably not the wisest idea to ride with one hand on Ludo mode, but that does kind of show that this scooter does have controllable throttle response, which is cool. I'll splice in some of this B-roll shots here for you. You can see them lights on the side. Good looking scooter. I'm actually gonna take this thing off Ludo mode. Triple tap that, put it on to riding on the sand here, one-handed. How about that? See that hill up there? That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do that. I guarantee you it's gonna do it. I mean, this thing is what? What's the power? 1750 watts times 2. Can't do B-roll on this side, man. We got the regen throttle over here, so we gotta go give it a little boost here. Get it up to about 20. Take our hand off. Handlebars feel fairly stable. Coming to a stop. Let's do that one more time. Definitely a cool scooter to get out for a little adventure. Look at all that green up on the hill, man. That's beautiful. Little doggy coming to say hello. Hey, pal. Is that a coyote? So we're gonna give it a little brake test here using the levers from, about 20 miles an hour here. They're fine. You know, mechanical brakes, They just don't feel great, but it's cool because it has the regen brake on there. Let's try that again. I missed my B-roll spot. So ready and brake. Yeah, brakes are strong. Let's try it with just the regen brake. Man, I started getting a workout on these scooters, hopping up and down on this deck that's about, I don't know, what was that off the ground? About 8 inches. So it's kind of just like a constant stair-stepping effort and then kind of throwing your weight around on here. So just pressing the regen brake brings it to a stop. Slower. So we're gonna try it on this gradual incline here, about a 12% incline, and see how it does. So we are still on Ludo mode and full throttle, showing 15 miles an hour, 16, 20. So obviously dual motor, short wheels. I'm letting off the throttle now because we got some people coming. Full throttle again. Strong climber, man. The short wheels, all the power. Woo! Fun little scooter. We don't want to scare this little doggy though. So as expected, you know, everybody knows these scooters can come out real good. Beautiful view of the city today. Everything is, you can see the Hollywood sign out there. I can, probably the GoPro doesn't quite show it, but beautiful day. So let's go down, not the California incline, but basically the California incline equivalent over in my neighborhood. And regen brake, it's just awesome that they have this dedicated regen lever here. I mean, you're probably never gonna have to worry about changing your actual mechanical brakes if you just use this thing. It'll put a little bit of charge back in your battery. Now, you know, the efficiency isn't really like 100%, not even remotely close to 100%. So, oh my goodness, I almost ran over a little gecko there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I missed him. He's alive, he's cool. Down this incline, we can just rely on the regen. It'll bring us to a stop with just regen brakes. So let's head back to the parking garage and try the steep 20% hill grade test, see how it does on that. I'll tell you guys where we end up on battery range and share my final thoughts along the way here. So Apollo Phantom 2.0 list price is $1 shy of $3,000, on sale for $2,399, and the link below this video. So if you guys are thinking about buying this scooter and you want to also help support this review, check the link below the video, click on that, fly through that link. I might have a discount code down there for you. Final thoughts on this thing though, you know, performance, you know, speed versus price on this one. Obviously you could find other, you know, cheaper brands where you're getting a lot more power for the money, but this one feels like pretty well built, pretty quality, like heavy duty stem, big tires, like just robust, self-healing tires. Has an app that actually works, and real bright lights on the side, man. Those lights, like this thing feels like, you know, I'd be safe riding this thing around, like on the, maybe not the big streets at night, but you'll be visible out there, that's for sure, with these bright lights. And the controls, the inputs are nice, got the turn signals, pretty solid electric scooter. Let's head on home, try the 20% grade, and see the final range. Yeah, bro, look how bright those lights look in this dark corner. They are like the brightest lights I've ever seen on a scooter. So let's give her a rip up the good old 20% grade after we've been out there riding around a little bit. So we're not quite on a full charge. Looks like we're down 2 bars, but are we in Ludo mode? There we go, Ludo mode, ready to go. See if we can make it. Yeah, there we go, showing 15. Now the range they say you can do on this is like 30 to 50 miles. Obviously, that's really just gonna depend on how you ride it. 30 does not seem unrealistic though. So pretty cool electric scooter. If you guys do wanna grab one of these, use that link down below. Oh yeah, we did 5.4 miles, rode around for about 28 minutes, average speed 11. It's missing 2 bars on the range, so pretty charged. Does it give us a percentage in the app? Oh, it says we're 81% charged after about 5.5 miles. Oh, and the app does show us the controller temperature and the motor temperature. Sweet. So as mentioned, if you are gonna grab one, use that link down below. It would help support the channel. However, if this is, oh dude, that's the Plaid. You see the Plaid? However, if this is not the kind of electric scooter you're looking for, watch this video, bro. Catch you over there. Juice it, Plaid, juice it. Dude, why is he going so slow? He has a Plaid.